Does this? Alright, mine's pitch shock, nice. Alright, we'll do. Alright. So right off the bat, what we'll kind of be talking about is just some different comps. Kind of what I'm looking to do here is just kind of introduce you guys to a comp, and I'll go over, really the roles of everyone in the comp, and what you need to be doing. Go ahead and pick, whoever you want, pretty much, as long as you can watch me.
Okay.
Oh, we're just watching you.
Yeah, I mean, I could put you in spectate, but I feel like having you on here, I'm gonna make you guys do stuff in a bit, so no reason to swap you back and forth. I say as I swap someone.
Ooh.
Alrighty. So basically, first comp that we're gonna be going over here is 222, and it looks like you guys at least know a little bit about that, which is nice. You pulled out the Zarya and you pulled out the McCree, so let me stop talking in team chat so you don't get an echo. You pulled out the Zarya, so you pulled out McCree, so that's good. Big picture, whenever you're running a comp, it's gonna be, what are you looking to get out of the, comp, right? If you're running, in this case, we'll say Ryan Zarya. Hog would be, a triple tank variation. That's fine. But you might have a Hanzo, you might have an Ana, you might have either a Zen or a Lucio or a Moira even sometimes. And the big picture is, you're playing for the shield war, right? So I'm going to try to keep my shield up as long as possible. You guys need to be utilizing me to take damage, right? So Zarya, you need to be saying, hey, Ryan, drop your shield, swing around, right? Because whenever I get the chance to move up and swing, that's going to mean that's going to give me some time to let my shield recharge. And it also means it's going to let me take damage instead of my shield take damage, right? I can take a good, 200 damage because of the Zarya barrier. If we have a D.Va to 2 more seconds of damage, and then I can comfortably take around 200 damage before I want to start backing up again, right? And so that's adding at least, obviously depends on how much D.Va's eating, but usually around 500 or 600 damage to your shield, and you're getting the chance for it to start recharging, right? Um, Big pictures, whenever you are running variations, right, there's always this staple comp. So the staple 2-2-2 comp is Ryan, Zarya, McCree, a second DPS, and I'll kind of talk about that in a second, and then Ana Zen, right? And the reason is Ana's really good at solo healing, and so since you guys are all kind of relying on me to take the damage either up here at the gate or maybe a little bit further back to here, right? Um, you need to make sure that you can keep me alive because if I die, I promise you lose, right? It's 2019. Healers aren't the most important person on the team anymore. It's the main tank.
Yeah.
Now the main tank's also very easy to keep alive until we get to goats.
Mm.
um, or I guess until you're against goats. So whenever you're running one of these comps, you need to ask yourself, or whenever the enemy is running one of these comps, right, what variation are they doing and how does that affect it, right? In our case, let's just imagine we had a sixth player that was Junkrat, right? That second DPS can kind of rotate between stuff. Usually it's going to be something like a Pharah, something like a Junkrat, Hanzo, every once in a while a Widow, right? It's either, going for pick potential or it's going for a ton of spam damage, right? Because again, you are playing that shield war, and worst case is your shield goes down before theirs, right? That puts you at a huge disadvantage. Okay, and then, if you have variations like Brig here, you have to ask yourself, right, what does that add? What does that take away? Well, it's a lot more burst healing for me, right? Brig, you can throw your E on me anytime you want. That's going to give me a lot of burst healing. It's going to be the extra 75 armor, all that stuff, right? And that's pretty big. You also have the aura healing, which is even bigger when I'm moving up and brawling. And you have stuns, which can keep me alive when I'm going up there, right? So that makes me a lot tankier up in the front here. I can stay alive for a lot longer. But since you're swapping it out for a Zen, that's a significant amount of damage you're missing out on, right? And so if you guys aren't as good at focusing targets together, or maybe their comp makes it a little bit harder to focus targets together, or Zen is being harassed by a tracer, or this or that or whatever, that's when you'd want to consider swapping the Zen to a Brig instead, right? Because that Zen's going to have a hard time doing that potential. Now, I say that Zen is super, super high effectiveness, right? His discords are 30% more damage on McCree and Junkrat and Zarya and, me if I'm swinging at someone. Ana, I hope you're not doing DPS, but just in case, right? I would technically do stuff. And then himself too. Obviously Zen is nothing to laugh at, his damage. Now he's also very weak, which is why Ana and Zen kind of have to stick together, or Zen and McCree have to stick together. But if you guys aren't utilizing that Discord, which is what Zen is super, 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 super good for, then it's worthless, right? The other thing is in this comp, if we didn't have a third healer and if instead we were running, well, that's kind of getting into goats. I won't talk about that yet. But what's important to know is you don't have a defensive ult, right? If they come in with Grav, what do? On a nade, rally, hope for the best, right? There's not that
Yeah.
much, right? If they have any significant combo with that, then we're pretty much wiped, right? Now, if you have Zentrans and I have my shield up, it's a pretty low chance that they get past my shield with the anti, assuming we can, stop their Ana from walking into our Grav, which you guys should be able to do.
Yeah.
So kind of going over each of the roles now. Ryan, your job is to stay alive, stay at the front, take damage, and keep a backline, right? Like you can see me right here. This is terrifying for the enemy team. I'm looking at you guys right now, right? You have your McCree behind me, maybe a little bit to the side, like kind of there. Zarya's literally right next to me. You can kind of float in and out of the shield, Zarya, if you want to. Ana, you might want to play a little further back just because you want to have that corner to play behind for safety. Brig, you're right up next to me with the Zarya, right? You're hitting someone, you're giving all of us that healing. And then Hanzo or Junk or whoever, again, it kind of depends who it is, can kind of rotate between a couple different spots, right? If we did have the Zen, he'd probably be playing back here near this car too, just so he can get these nice lines of sight, stuff like that, right? And obviously, I am applying all of this to this map, but it can apply to a lot more. Zarya, as I was talking about, your job is going to be staying with the Rhine here, right? Kind of playing with me. Communication between your Rhine and your Zarya, and so this is me directly talking to Rhine and Zarya. One thing that you guys need to start doing is just when you get home or when you have a chance, duo Q and comp. Really focus on communicating. Ryan, drop shield, swing. Zarya moves up, right? Coordinating, bubbling me when I charge in, which don't ever go for a charge as aggro as I just did. But um, on a lot of maps, if you're attacking, it's worth it. So here, swap the sides, right? Pretend we're on attack right now, right? Come on over. So, common thing is we're going to be playing Shield War. We're going to be playing Shield War. Maybe they're playing, a more spammy comp where they're going to be falling back. I might fall back to here. And if they try to wrap around here, an easy thing for me to do is just pin them against this wall right here, right? You bubble me. They're split. They're all looking at me because I just made this big play. And you guys have this nice opening to shoot at them, right? Now, it puts me at risk because I'm suddenly far away from you guys. And it puts you guys at risk because I'm suddenly far away from you. But it's probably higher potential because I'm pinning someone that's almost a guaranteed kill. I can't get stunned because of the Zarya barrier, stuff like that, right? And anti-heal can follow me and anti one or two people and give the burst healing to myself, right? Combos like that are stuff that you guys need to be practicing all the time. Ryan Zarya is one of the most important duos, I would say, there is, right? Another one would be like your McCree Zen or your Soldier Zen, Hanzo Zen, whoever it's going to be. A DPS and Zen who are sticking together, keeping each other alive, right? If a Tracer dives your Zen, McCree needs to be there to help. If a Winston dives your McCree, Zen needs to be there healing the McCree and discording the Winston, right? Stuff like that. So yeah, big picture. I'll talk about ults real quick. So Ryan, your job is to also build ult charge pretty fast. So you want to be getting some opportunities to do fire strikes, getting opportunities to swing. The more you swing, the faster you build ult charge, and the longer your shield stays up, right? Important thing is if your team is holding all the way back here, and you are all the way here, you're going to die. They are not in a position to help you, right? You start swinging instantly, you get stunned. Maybe you have a Zarya barrier, it goes down, then they go for it, right? They're waiting for opportunities to go in like that, right? When you do get opportunities to shatter, if you ever shatter without saying, "Hey guys, I'm gonna shatter next fight," and then also say, "Hey guys, I'm shattering in 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second," like giving everyone plenty of time to get ready, you're throwing. Right, you need to have your Briggs stunning the Rhine if that's a possibility, right? Watch out for Zarya barriers if that happens. Or you can always just do, some little shield debate where, let me move one of you over to the other team real quick. Pick Ryan and come to the gate. While he's doing that, I'll just keep talking here. Zarya, yeah, pick Ryan. Zarya, your goal with Grav is just coordinate. It's a completely one fight. Don't use it, reflexively. Don't use it defensively. Use it offensively to win the fight before they can, right? It's very broken. Grav is the strongest ult in the game. Okay, so pretend, let me just, one more hit on you. Okay, pretend you're playing Ryan right here. Imagine you have a team behind you and imagine I have a team behind me, right? So shield up, start moving up, right? You want to get some space for your team. What? You're come on, move up, move up. All right, we're doing a little bit of a dance here. I'm swinging, you're swinging, right? So play like you would, right? If I'm just swinging you like this, you're gonna drop it, and then I'm gonna take that opportunity to shatter, right? Just little stuff like that, right? Just taking the opportunity to drop the shield. You want to force him to drop his shield and swing at you, right? And then that's opportunities that you can always take to shatter, to stun, right? If you're doing that as Ryan, your Brig should be with you, ready to stun, stuff like that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Zarya, big things keeping your energy up, right? It's gonna protect your Rhine. The big scary if you're playing Rhine is them walking past my shield and killing me. There's nothing I can do if they choose to do that. Absolutely nothing. That's why Goats is so strong, right? They have that ability, right? So it's up to you, it's up to the McCree, it's up to the Zen, it's up to the Junk, it's up to the Ana, everyone else behind me. It's up to you to stop them from walking past me, right? I'll just be here and help you guys do that, but it's up to you guys in the end to apply that damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
McCree,
Yeah.
just do damage all the time. Always do
Alright.
damage. If you're ever not doing damage, you're doing something wrong, right? Don't go
Yes.
for flank kills. Don't not shoot at the shield because you're waiting for an opportunity, right? Call out
Yeah.
people that are low. Focus discords. You always want to be doing maximum damage, right? Don't be afraid to, right click, roll right click. Always be ready to do stun combos with your team, right? If you want to plan something, plan something. But do remember, if your Ryan's up here swinging and you're up here with him, you're in danger, right? Especially in 2019, everyone's running goats. If they see McCree this far up, they're gonna kill you. I promise. You're gonna die, right?
Yeah.
So just keep that stuff in mind, okay? Um, if you were to try to do stuff like that, you'd want to have a Lucio so you can skirt the heck out. Let's see, let's see. Speaking of, well, Junk or Hanzo, also their goal in life is to just do a lot of damage, right? You need to break their shield before they break yours. That's the big thing, okay? Healers, keep your main tank alive, keep your DPS alive, just keep everyone alive, but most importantly, don't die. Right? Zen, you're a little bit of an exception because your job is also to do a lot of damage. So you're going to do a lot of stuff around this corner where you're, charging up your right click and then bursting out and throwing it, right? You only have to keep line of sight with people once every, I want to say, 3 seconds to keep the orb on them, and it takes less than that to charge up a right click, so it keeps you safe like 75% of the time, right?
So I'm
And if
taking back with Anna.
absolutely, absolutely, you don't want them to know where you are, right? And if
Okay.
they do choose to dive Ana, then you need to be here like surprise, you bit off more than you can chew, right? Because honestly, Ana
Yeah.
Zen is a pretty scary combo. Now, everyone go jump off an edge and swap to dive. Actually, I'm just gonna change the map. Let's do. What's a good dive map?
We can do
Uh, we'll do.
Winston Tracer stuff.
All right, a restart. I wonder if this is actually gonna change the map. Yeah, there we go. Hopefully we're attack. Please don't be defense. It's totally gonna put us on defense. I just noticed. That's fine. Just pick dive anyway.
What about the sniper?
So yeah,
Who do
big
you
things. Big things
who
with
do you call
222
honestly?
is you want to play. Just play for the shield, right? Play around your shield. Let your Rhine take damage. Let your shield take damage. You want your DPS to be alive as long as possible, doing as much damage as possible forever, right? Second comp we're going to be talking here is dive. Dive is not that complex, y'all. Dive essentially came up because the Koreans are like. So I don't know. Did anyone play season like 3 and 4
Yeah. I
back
did.
when it was just Rhine Zarya Hog every game?
Yep.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah. So they started to notice, hey, the team that gets the first kill in a fight is winning the fight. Like, get that Rhine out of this comp. What are you doing? That's not
I don't
dive.
know. I don't
They
know,
essentially
guys.
said, hey, whoever gets the kill first time in every fight wins the fight like 75% of the time. Let's build an entire comp around that. And so dive really is just built on get the first kill. Okay? And then from there, they have a big disadvantage, and you guys can kind of play to your advantages depending on who you kill.
What characters would you say we should play on a dive comp?
Absolutely. So the staple dive is Winston and then Diva, right? Now for DPS, you can do a lot of variations. It used to be the staple used to be Genji Tracer. They just stick with the Winston. Um, but after the Lucio nerfs, it's been a little bit weaker and then a little bit stronger. And so usually I like to say do Genji, Ana, Zen, and then a long range person, right? That can be Ashe, that can be Widow, that can be Hanzo, whoever you're really asking for, right? Doomfist would work. Doomfist is kind of this. There's a dive variation called Disruption Dive where you have Hammond solo tank. Never play Disruption Dive. It's very hard. If you guys were watching OWL yesterday, you probably saw them running it on some map. Um,
Was.
it's very hard to run correctly. I don't even tell my team to run it. It's a
So this is
disaster.
Tracer. I should play like Genji.
Yeah, and the reason is Tracer's very strong, Genji's very strong. They're about equal strength, but Genji has Blade and we have an Ana. So Nano Blade is a one fight, 100% of the time, right? It goes through trance if you do it
Okay.
right.
Healer wise, you said who were the healers?
You want to have a main healer, so you're gonna have your Ana usually for the Genji. If you don't have an Ana, maybe you have a Mercy Pharah, right? If you don't have either of those, Moira is also definitely acceptable. She's very high mobility and can heal all the tanks. You need one of those three, and then the other person's either gonna be a Zen for more damage or a Lucio for more mobility, right? It just depends. The
Yeah.
big trade-off and dive is: are you committing to your front line, which is going to be your Winston Diva, right? Or are you committing to keeping Winston Diva alive and having the strong backline do the work, right? So in the case of your front line doing the work, or actually this would be, let me just add an AI to the other team real quick. We'll add a McCree. Poor McCree. Oh, I added 6 of them. That's fun. All right, so big picture. We'll talk about this will be a frontline dive. All right, we have Genji, Tracer, or sorry, Genji, Diva, and Winston all staying together. Are they coming out of spawn? Okay, they're on card. And so how this is going to work is I'm going to be sitting high ground here. I'm going to say, hey guys, they're on card. I'm going to jump down. Diva, you're down with me, right? You're DMing. You don't want to DM at the same times that my shield is up, right? Just because it's a little bit optimal. Now that being said, realistically, how it should probably go is, I dive in, you're DMing me, you're DMing me, you're DMing me, and then I put bubble down, right? After taking a little bit of damage, because then Ana can heal that damage up, and then we're playing around bubble, we take a little bit of damage while Ana's healing us up, and then you have DM again, and then I have bubble again, right? So it's alternating between DM and bubble, always with taking a little bit of damage in between, right? That just means that you can forever alternate between the two, right? And so essentially how this goes is, we see this dive. I say, okay, let's dive cart. 3, 2, 1. And so big thing is you want to do maximum burst damage, and that's going to mean being very coordinated, right? Winston, whoever is the Winston player, watch the VOD and watch what I'm doing here, right? You leap in, you land, and then you melee right before you land. It's a very slight animation you can see there, but try to see me cancel it. I exaggerated it a little bit there, but yeah, it just does a little bit of extra damage, right? Your landing does damage, your melee does damage, and so and it saves a little bit of ammo, right? You go land melee, and you can see he's already at half health. With the Genji dash and a little bit of the Diva damage, they die very, very, very fast, right? Winston, you're going to be using your shield to protect your team, not yourself, right? Well, also yourself because you are essentially your team in a front-heavy dive, right? Leap is always to get in. Now, another acceptable thing to use Leap for, if you're a little bit more scared, which is absolutely acceptable. If you were playing against 6 McCrees in the real world, I would do this, right? Genji, come up top with me. Genji, come up top.
What'd you say?
So essentially, another way to dive is instead of using your leap to go in, you can use your leap to go out. So if they are actually running 6 McCrees, I'm like, I'm gonna die in half a second. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide down, and I'm gonna go in, and obviously in the real world I'd be dead here almost, and so I'm gonna use that to leap out, right? Probably wouldn't have stuck the shield down before I leaped out, but just saying.
Okay.
All right, so that's a front heavy dive. Genji, jump off the edge. And go swap to Widowmaker or something. I don't know.
I got Windmaker.
Widow, Ashe, Hanzo, whatever you want. Ana and Zen, please go high ground. Right where my shield is. Oh, I missed. Right up here.
You guys know how to get up there?
Yeah, just go back.
Yeah.
Go this way. Follow me.
There's a couple different ways. You guys should be able to get it.
This
I
one.
believe in you.
Wrong one. Come here. You go this way.
So when you guys are practicing dive, the number one thing is just going to be practicing that coordination. That's what makes a dive comp so strong, right? When your Winston is landing on someone, Diva, you need to be DMing. I need to be taking damage. I need to be getting healed. DPS, you need to be focusing the same person, right? How this works, this is a back heavy dive, is instead of me trying to do damage and Diva trying to do damage, our only goal in life is to stay alive, right? So I'm just going to jump up here and start playing around this cart, right? I'm going to put my shield down later than I normally would, use a lot of natural cover, and this whole time you can see these 3 are doing the damage, right? Diva and I, we don't expect to get kills. We just want to be here so that they can't, if they try to go for these guys up here, we're able to punish them by either going for them like I just did, or by literally just preventing them from doing that. Because if you are a McCree right here, you don't have a chance to shoot at them at my high ground, right? I'm in your face, I'm doing damage to you, right? Not a lot, but it's them that are doing the real damage, okay? Now, big stuff, if you're playing against 222, you need an early kill. If you're playing against goats, swap your comp, or keep your Winston and Diva alive with every morsel in your entire human being, because it's probably not going to work. And if you're playing against another dive, get the first kill or counter dive their main tank, right? Whoever's main tank dives first and dive versus dive always runs the risk of getting dived, if that makes sense, right? So if they're running Winston Diva and we're running Winston Diva and we're playing here with our backline, and then their Winston maybe rotates around and dives their back or dives our backline at this high ground, one thing that I might do is I'm gonna go up here and fight this Winston and get him off my backline, right? Stuff like that. Yeah, don't fall. Winston, you're going to be using your ult pretty much just to zone, right? Just how I'm doing here. You're just going to leap around, let your DPS do the damage, right? Just create a lot of space, knock him into the open. I actually got 3 kills there. Wow. But yeah, Diva, same thing. Diva Bomb's going to be used mostly for zoning, just to find an opportunity to do the damage. DPS, it depends on who we have as DPS, but you're going to use your ults to find more opportunities to get kills. So walls are going to be popped before fight. Zen, you're going to use trans defensively in case you're about to die. And you can use Nano on Winston usually as I'm going in just to help me survive for even longer, right? Man, that quadruple high noon, am I right?
I got killed.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and swap to Orisa Hog now. We'll go Orisa Hog, Junkrat, McCree, Ana. So jump off, or actually, yeah, we already have Ana. Ana, just back up a little bit. So that's dive. Again, the way you want to practice it, just get in a comp game together, really focus on communications and target calling, okay? Got to get that first kill. Now, Orisa Hog is really similar to 222 in that you want to do a lot of damage, but it's a little bit different because it's a little bit more dependent on getting picks early rather than breaking the shield early, okay? And so a lot of the times you'll have a McCree, probably equally often you'll have a Widow. Ash is, I don't know, Ash is a little bit newer, so I can't say for sure, but usually it's one of the 4 or 2 of the 4 McCree, well, 2 of the 5 McCree, Ash, Widow, Hanzo, Junk, right? The important thing is you want to do damage, but you're also looking for picks, okay? And so how this comp works is usually on this map, you'd hold right down here. Your Widow would be sitting either up there or right here or sometimes right here, and by Widow, I mean any of those people. And how this is going to work, Hog, come here. Actually, we're going to have to push forward for this because I just remembered the McCrees don't actually push up. Just imagine we're over there right now, right? How this is going to work is every time I see an opportunity, I pull, Hog throws his hook into that, right? He gets the hook on even a tank, and everyone destroys that person, right? In the meantime, even before we're getting that hook pull combo, you know, our Widowmaker is getting angles, our Ana is looking for sleeps, our Zen is doing this, right? All this different stuff is going on. Pretty much, we won't necessarily win the shield war. They will eventually kill the shield and then kill us, but it's going to take them a really long time because as Orisa, I can do this thing. Main tank, watch me. Whoever that is. I throw my first shield up, and then blah, blah, blah. I wait however long. They do a lot of damage to it, right? Blah, blah, blah. And then I put my second shield down, and by the time they're able to break this shield, I'm able to put a third shield down, and hopefully a fourth if I can utilize Fortify and tank some damage as well, right? And so that's going to mean they actually have to go through, you know, 2,800 health plus Roadhog's health plus my health plus however much Ana can pocket us. It ends up being a lot of damage for them to try to go through, right? And walking towards an Orisa Hog is terrifying.
Yeah.
Right? And so again, you're just going for the kills. You're going for the picks. You're going for the opportunities, right? A great map that you can kind of utilize this on is Temple of Anubis First Point High Ground, right? You're sitting there. They have to cross under you to the far left to high ground or to the right and kind of flank. And any of those opportunities, you're pulling them at the gate. Your Roadhog hook reaches. Your snipers are watching, right? That's kind of the perfect example, I would say. Do you guys know what I'm talking about, or should we go there and kind of play it out? All right. But yeah, that's a perfect example of when to run Orisa Hog, right? Everywhere they go, they're going to be open, right? Now, the final comp that I'm going to be talking about, how am I doing on time? We've like, how long?
Oh, you got like 30 minutes.
Oh, God bless. Okay. So final comp we're going to be talking about here is Goats, Resident Sleeper. We're going to be going to King's Row for this one because it's King's Row. Now, since I have the chance, I'm also going to be talking about Counter Goats. Counter Goats is essentially Orisa Hog, but it doesn't have to be Orisa Hog. I'll talk about it in a bit. Just have some patience.
So you want us,
Yeah, go Goats. Now, someone mentioned that you ran Reaper instead of Diva and Goats.
Yeah.
That's fine. Just remember what you're doing, right? Know what that means. It means your Reinhardt and your Zarya are going to be a lot more vulnerable. Diva eats a considerable amount of damage, and Goats is kind of, built around the whole let's do a very fast fight, right? And so if you do have that Diva who can eat infinite damage in a very short time, um, that's a pretty big weakness. Now, Reaper is also a lot more damage, so I don't blame you at all. If they do end up swapping to a Pharah, just swap it over to McCree. McCree variation dive or death or McCree variation goats is absolutely acceptable and played very, very often. Okay. Big picture with goats is we have a absolute ungodly amount of healing and damage for a very short amount of time, right? Not actually a short amount of time. It's about 15 seconds that can last, and that's only if they're doing significant amounts of damage to us. So, Sharif, are you here?
Yeah.
Good. I'm gonna swap you to the other team. Pick Junkrat. Yeah. Now, here's what we're gonna do. We're not actually gonna damage the Junkrat, but we are gonna act like we're goatsing in front of him. So just come on out. Right? So how this will work, defensive goats is a little weird. So instead we're gonna play offensive goats. Go swap sides. Just play point or something, right? Junk, where are you? Go play point. Act like you're defense and we're offense, okay? Points this way.
He wants you to go on the plan over here.
This way. So Junk, you're actually gonna shoot at us and we won't shoot at you, okay? So all the way to point, all the way to point, all the way to point. So the big scary against 3-3 is long-term sustained damage. Now, Junk, just start shooting. We're gonna walk directly into your bullets, right? Zarya, come back. Lucio, come back. All right. So here's how this works: is we would group around this corner. I'd say Lucio in 3, 2. Oh wait, before we do this, let me actually talk about what's gonna happen here. I'm just gonna walk up and pretend I'm swinging, which I would be, right? Zarya, you have to bubble me. You have to bubble yourself, tank damage. Lucio, you're gonna be amping speed and then swapping to heal once we're on point. And then Brig, you're gonna be feel free, Brig. You can swing. No one else swing though. Brig, you can swing for that aura healing, and then you're gonna be again pocketing me. I want to take damage. I'm going to try to take damage from the Junkrat, and it's your job to keep me alive. Okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Speed boost. So we walk into the junk again, yeah, just tanking damage again. I'm swinging. He would be dead 6 times over right now. We're swinging, right? Got a little split up there. That's okay. Again, he would be super dead right now. Again, I'm trying to take damage. Oh, I got trapped. Don't let that happen. Yeah. So that's pretty much how it goes. All right, actually kill him now. That was fast. Yeah, so that's pretty much how it goes. Now, I don't know if you guys knew, but obviously that goes a lot faster when we're actually doing it. And the Junkrat's not a Junkrat. He's a Reinhardt that's being pocketed by an Ana and a Diva and a Zarya, right? Now, the important thing is there would also be 2 more of us. We would have either a Diva or a Reaper, which is a lot more damage. And the big one is the Ana, right? That's going to be the increased healing on me, increasing Briggs healing, increasing Ana's healing, which is already insane, increasing Lucio's healing, which is significant because it's spread out across everybody, right? Ditto on Briggs or healing. When you're hitting 5 people with it, it's pretty big. Yeah, so just keep that stuff in mind, right? That's the big picture of 3-3 is really fast fights. Don't be afraid to go for their main tank, right? That's the big thing. Don't be afraid to go for their main tank. I'm going to swap you back over here. Because you have a ungodly amount of damage very quickly, right?
So you pick Ana over Moira in the Goats comp?
Yeah, you can do Ana, you can do Moira. It just depends. Big thing about the goats is you don't really have a backline, right? I'm a fan of the Ana because in this situation we were on defense. Ana can sit high ground while we were doing it. If we were on attack, which I guess we technically were, then Moira is sometimes preferable because she can kind of heal everyone at once. Now the thing that's not as strong about about Moira is she doesn't have the healing nade, which is enormous. Not only, and sleep, I should add, not only for the defensive capability because it amps her healing, but it also amps Briggs' healing, it amps Lucio's healing, right? Also for the offensive ability. If we're going in and we're all grouped up around an enemy main tank and Ana throws a healing nade, it is anti-healing the main tank. Like, that is enormous, y'all. That cuts the amount of damage we have to do by 3, right? Not 3 damage by 3 times because he's getting Brig healing, this, that, whatever, right? It's enormous. It really is. So yeah, it's a little bit. Just remember the variation, right? What is that going to mean for you, right? It means you're going to have a much weaker, well, stronger backline because it doesn't exist if you have the Moira instead of the Ana. But it also means that you're going to have less healing and less offensive capability, for sure. Moira's damage is trash. And if you're running Ghosts, now the thing that's really great about Moira is Coalescence. Pushing in with Coalescence in 3-3 is, I mean, it's a guaranteed win if you do it right. Just stay in the Coalescence beam, right? So essentially what everyone's job is, Ryan, don't get shattered, okay? That's a big thing. Goats is always like, oh, I'm so aggro, let me just walk up and swing. Don't get shattered. You're going to get shattered, you're going to wipe your team fight 50,000 times. If you're running Goats, there's so much health for them to build ult charge off of. You guys cannot let them build ult charge off of you, right? Now, second thing is, do take opportunities to shatter. You don't have to get a 6k. If you get one person, it's worth it, actually. Like, that's even kind of there with Grav, not as much. Grav, you need to have some pretty strong combos with because they pop everything in the book to try to counter, right? You're going to get your literally every single ability they have trying to counter Grav. Maybe ult, too. Rally needs to be used offensively, not defensively, because on Goats, you never play defensively. You always play offensively. I know, I'm just saying. It was a good segue, thank you. Nano, Nano's a little interesting because you aren't using the Moira. That's kind of the weakest part of the Ana pick. You're probably going to want to use it on Rein just to let him create a lot more space and do a lot more damage. If you're doing a McCree variation, you can argue putting it on McCree. You can even argue putting it on Brig if you want, just because it lets the Brig play super aggro. But if you're putting it on Brig, you should probably just put it on Rein, and Brig should follow Rein around, right?
Yeah.
Lucio beat is defensive. Do not use it offensively. That's to save yourself from grabs, shatters, whatever, right? Lucio, don't get shattered, okay? But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, I'll talk about counter 3-3. Everyone go back to spawn. We're going to swap to Orisa Hog. Now, this is important because you guys are going to go against a lot of 3-3 in your days, and this is hard for a lot of people to grasp. There's two ways to counter 3-3. One, go 3-3, or two, go counter 3-3. Wow, crazy how that works, right? Now, no one ever goes counter 3-3 because no one knows how to counter 3-3 because there's like no backline, you can't dive, you can't death ball because they just push you, right? Like, so what do you really do? The answer is long-term sustained damage, right? What really sucks about Goats is all that Reinhardt shield, the Zarya barrier, the Lucio amp, the Moira or Ana healing, the, what am I missing? D.Va defense matrix, if they have it, the, what's the last person? Brig's orb or whatever for her healing and even her shield. It's temporary. It's very temporary, and it depends on how much damage they're taking, right? If we have, in this case, ideally we would have Junkrat or Hanzo, Junkrat and Hanzo, or Hanzo and Ashe, or you could do Widow. Widow's a little bit more of a gamble because there's not that many people you can snipe, frankly. Right? The important thing is that you're always doing a lot of damage. Every single moment you need to be doing damage, but also contesting the points. So if we are to run this comp where we have Orisa Hog set up here with our Hanzo and our Ashe and our whatever, just doing a ton of damage to them, let me tell you, this is an insane amount of damage. I don't know the numbers because I don't remember them, but it's more than Goats can deal with for more than 10 seconds. Absolutely. You will win the fight. Now, the issue is they can just take 3 fights, go to point, get a tick, and then, do whatever. So that is going to mean that we have to contest. Now, Orisa Hog can also be swapped for Orisa D.Va in case you need a little bit safer of a contest because D.Va can come back up while Hog cannot. But essentially how this works is we would need multiple... Oh, whoops, I fell. It's okay. I was about to do that in a second anyway. Ashe, you would want to get an angle. Hanzo, you'd want to get an angle in some other doorways or whatnot. Stay on that high ground, though. Again, Goats has no ability to deal with any high ground whatsoever, right? Other things that you can swap for those two are Pharah, not on this map. Pharah's not that great defensively here. Offensively, it's okay, but, and the important thing is you need to have someone contest, right? And so if I'm down here contesting, so Ashe, you just messed up. Hog, you kind of messed up. Not really. Hanzo, you messed up. You guys have to stay high ground, right? There can be no risk of you dropping down because I just need to stay alive and let you do damage. I'm going to die. There's nothing I can do to stop myself from dying, right? What's important is that Ana's covered, like Ana is using everything in her ability to pocket me, and I'm using everything in my ability to pull them away from me, fortify at the right time, play around my shield, play around this lamppost if I need to, right? Everything I can to stay alive because you guys are going to be the ones doing damage, right? Now, the two ways that this loses is if I die too early because I messed up or I wasn't getting pocketed or you guys weren't stopping them because you weren't doing enough damage, or you guys just don't do enough damage and they just win eventually, right? And so those are the two things that you're going to have to watch out for, right? If your Orisa is getting melted instantly, their entire goal, if you're running goats, your strat is get to point and then completely destroy the first person that touches point. And so this comp says, okay, we're going to let you do that pretty much, right? We're going to slow you down, but we're going to let you do that because you can't do anything else, right? They can't get to high ground, right? But if they're contesting point, they're winning. They're getting ticks. So you do have to have someone contest, right? So big stuff is make sure, Orisa, it's very scary. You're going to die. Stay alive for as long as possible. Hog or D.Va, an important strategy is rotating who's contesting. So if I drop down and I'm contesting and then I get very low, I can fall back to here. They won't chase me if they're smart. If they do chase me, they've made a mistake and you're going to win the fight because that gives, 4 times 2 more seconds of spam, 8 seconds of spam when they're completely open, in this pathway from your DPS. That's a lost fight for them, right? So I can fall back to here. I can get healed up from our Ana, and then our D.Va and Hog can drop to contest, right? And then when they have to fall back, they can fall back in this way. Well, maybe not that way because they will chase, but maybe you fall back this way, right? And then your Ana's healing you. And then I come back and contest, right? And again, easier said than done is what I would say about that. It's very important that the main tank and the off tank have great communication there, right? I'm touching, I'm off, right? Stuff like that. Healers, don't let your tanks die. For the love of all things good and holy in this world. Right? If your Orisa drops and you have a Zen and Zen Orb is not on your Orisa, I'm reporting you. I will find you and report you. DPS, the important thing is you need to be doing long-term, sustained, consistent, important, effective damage. Just do a lot of damage. Now, this doesn't mean shoot at a Rein Shield. If you have the choice of hitting someone, hit someone. You need to be focusing targets and you need to be getting kills eventually, right? It's going to be really futile at first. You're not going to get any kills. Everyone you do damage to is going to get instantly healed up. It's going to suck, right? But then after you hit that 10-second mark, that's when they start. Like, the goat's healing potential drops down by, I think, 800 or something. It's insane. By healing, I mean healing and shields and whatever, right? It's literally crazy, right? So that's what you need to do, is you need to be doing the damage to force them to use the abilities sooner rather than later, right? If that means breaking a Zarya bubble, break the Zarya bubble. Right? If that means focusing a Brig shield, focus the Brig shield. If you're ever sitting there like this Hanzo just holding an arrow, you're doing it wrong. Right? Now, ults-wise, I don't know. It's very tough to use ults correctly in this comp, but, Bongos obviously 50% more damage, and so that means you only have to survive for 2/3 as... Wait, is that right? Yeah, 2/3 as long. Hog, your thing is infinite zoning and infinite damage. Just don't get stunned out of it. Bob is incredibly useful because he's a dumb amount of health and he contests point, so he's just a third tank, right? Nano can be used to keep me alive, honestly. Like, if I use my shield and then I use my fortify and I'm about to die, nano me. It's going to give me another chance to use my shield. It's going to keep me alive. They're going to back up, and it's going to give me another chance to use Fortify. And let me tell you right now, if they kill me during Nano with you pocketing me, then someone's doing something wrong. Right? Now, if they do run stuff like McCree or Reaper variation, focus that person. They're very, very weak, right? Reaper has Wraith. If he's in Wraith, he's not doing anything, and you already have the advantage, right? McCree's McCree. He's going to die. Or he better die, I should say, right? Yeah. And I'm not saying, oh, I forgot an important detail. Pre-fight. That was a kind of all mid-fight. Pre-fight, slow them down. Do everything in your power to slow them down. Like, if you're the Orisa, I'm pulling them here. I'm pulling them here. I'm pulling them here. If they go this way, I'm pulling them here. If they, everything I can do to get them off point, slow them down, is let our DPS get as much time as possible spamming, the better, right? Hog, you're looking for hooks. If we can get an early kill, that's enormous. Goats has to have 6 people to go in, or else they're throwing, right? Okay. That's me touching on all the comps. What are you guys thinking right now?
I think that was a pretty good explanation of positioning and stuff.
Yeah. So one thing that I do want to add is the hardest part about this is going to be doing it correctly and doing it in more situations than the ones that I've showed you, right? I've shown you how to play anti-goats on King's Row first point. Now, how are you going to do it on Ilios or something? I don't know, right? It's a lot more difficult. So what you have to do is just remember the concept behind the comp and then really think about it, right? And one of my teammates just mentioned to me just last night. We were talking about, what is the strengths of this comp, and it was almost anti goats, and they said, oh well, this is really low mobility. Let me pick Zen. Now, what do you guys think about that statement? Or sorry, I said Lucio, not Zen.
Wait, can you say it again?
Yeah, we had essentially the comp that we had right now. I think we had a McCree instead of a Hanzo and a Widow instead of an Ashe. But other than that, it was the exact same. And I said, okay, what do you think you should go here to make this comp stronger? And they said, well, everyone on this team is pretty low mobility. Let me go Lucio. Right? What do you guys think about that?
Makes sense.
Right?
I mean,
It does. It does. It is true that it is low mobility. But does this comp need mobility?
not really.
No.
Not necessarily.
Exactly.
No.
And so when you're looking at it, what do we need? What is this whole comp based off of?
Damage.
Damage. And so what would you go?
Someone that can heal good, or
Zen.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's going to be someone who can pocket your tanks. So that would read Mercy. I've seen before. I don't really like it. You can go Mercy. You're never going to get a res off, which is what Mercy's really good for. Zen's the big one because 30% more damage. If your DPS are focusing the target, they'll die a lot faster than 30%, right? Zen's the big one, right? And so just remember, like, you might be right. This comp is low mobility. We don't want mobility. We don't care about mobility. Half the team is staying high ground, not moving, right? The most mobility that we're doing is walking away from point and 2 point, just like 4 feet, right? So that's the important thing that you guys need to be realizing, right? If you're pulling a Lucio out on 2-2 or 2-2-2, right? That Ryan Zarya 2 DPS, right? Defensive, we'll say. Same situation as Eichenwald, we'll say, right? Sure, Lucio's great, and that's going to help you back up, but are there stronger picks, right? Is that Zen going to let you do more damage, right? Probably. Now, I'm not saying never pick Lucio in a 2-2-2. You can absolutely pick Lucio in a 2-2-2, and it used to be the meta, but that's when Lucio's speed boost was better.
It's kind of situational, also, I guess.
Very situational. It depends on the map is a big thing.
Yeah.
Right? If there's a high ground, hey, if there's a high ground, you need. Oh, perfect example. 2-2-2 on Volskaya first point. Speed boost to the left, take the high ground, done. Right? Absolutely acceptable. You play the shield war from high ground. It's an easy win most of the time. Now, obviously, that kind of depends on what comp they're running. If you speed boost into a 3-3, or sorry, into goats, you're doing something wrong, right? Especially if you're not running goats. Yeah. So what questions do you guys have? I've kind of touched on everything. I hope I've gone over to like kind of the most important thing that I think you guys need to work on. And I was kind of thinking about this for a while. I couldn't really decide kind of what to focus on, but I think it's going to be, what is the purpose behind this comp, and then focusing on, what does that mean for me, right? And for the people who are brand new to the game, I didn't know this stuff until I was Grandmaster. Actually, I played in Open Div. I got Grandmaster in Open Div. We got 5th place in Open Div. We were going to do Contenders Trials, but then we disbanded. I didn't know about, this level of comps and counter comps and stuff until I was that level, right? And so I think if you can grab that base now, it's going to let you improve a lot faster, right? Because instead of,
Yeah.
trial and error, you can say, okay, this is why this didn't work, right? I know this is why this didn't work. And then you can try something that does work, right? Versus just trying, essentially. So, what questions do you guys have for me?
Maybe one would be, what would be a good way to teach someone how to heal pretty good? Like, 'cause,
Practice. Yeah,
the
that's a
guy
big
who was
thing.
Deanna, he isn't in here anymore. I mean, he's okay, but he's not that good.
Absolutely.
He tries doing DPS every time.
Absolutely. Listen, just play. I'm serious. Like, to the people who are new at the game, like, I've given you all this info, play the game. Like, sure, it helps to, go to Jane's stream or something and watch that and this or that or whatever, but it never hurts to play, right? Play the game and communicate in every single match that you guys finish, say, okay, what can we do better? Right? Even if you win. If you lose, awesome. It's super easy to tell what you can do better. If you win, it's harder, right?
Yeah.
So ask yourself, what can we do better, right? And say, hey, Anna, how was your healing, right? Were you and let me say, in this case, because the Anna's brand new, it's probably the Anna's fault. But it might not always be the Anna's fault, right? If there's not enough damage, maybe it's the main tank's fault for not creating enough space for the DPS. That is a common problem. If you ever see a main tank in comp saying, we don't have enough damage, it's his goddamn fault. I'm serious. Like, if I'm not gonna get into it. If a Reinhardt ever has gold or silver damage, he is doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Unless it's Goats. Goats is a little bit of an exception to that. But still, Zarya should have gold damage in Goats. That's fine though. But yeah, like it's really gonna come down to understanding the comp and playing. Play the game, communicate. What can we do better, right? You guys like. They're not going to be Grandmaster day 1. They're not going to be Grandmaster day 20, but they're going to improve. And I think I've set you guys up in a way where you can improve as a team really well, right? And let me tell you right now, if you solo queue comp and expect people to know this, I'm going to hit you in the mouth, right? Like, it's not going to people. I still solo queue and people don't know this stuff. Like, God, right? Play as a team. Play as a team. Main tank and off tank. Your Zarya and your Ryan, your Winston and your Diva, your Orisa and your Hog. Duo together. DPS, play together. Help focus like that. Main tank and off tank, you need to be focusing on, pull and hook. Reinhardt swinging and Zarya bubble. Diving in and having the Diva protect, right? DPS, you need to be focusing the same target forever. Maybe the Zen's in there too, calling out his discords, right? Healer, protect your frickin' main tank. I'm serious. Like, you guys, Goats kind of abuses how important the main tank is, and it's an entire gamble on how fast can we kill the main tank. Or honestly, whoever. But the main tank, it finally lets a comp kill the main tank. If you're running dive and you dive into a Reinhardt, you lose the fight, right?
Mhm.
But if you're running Goats and you Goats into the Reinhardt, you win the fight. Funny how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, the number one thing, just play the game. Communicate, get experience, everything.
Well, one of the big problems we had, the first match we ever had, we were playing against some grandmasters, and one of them was actually a manager for one of the pro teams in the league.
Hey, look at that.
What's it called?
Which one?
NY
OWL?
a New
NYXL?
Yeah, NYXL.
Look
He's
at
the team-
that.
He's the manager for the players.
Look at that. Yeah,
We got steamrolled.
I would imagine. I mean, yeah,
They're great.
yeah.
They were pretty good.
Yeah, man. And hey, whenever you're in games like that, like, see what they're doing, right? Like, what are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? How are they responding to what you're doing? And then you can take that and do the exact same stuff to other teams.
It's true.
The worst thing you can always do is get discouraged, because let me tell you right now, you're gonna lose games. There's a million teams out there that are better than you, and there's a million teams out there that are better than them, right? And so every time you're playing, the best thing you can do is say, okay, why'd we lose? How can we not lose like next time, right? Because if you can next time beat that team, then you're already a step up.
Mainly, I would think our main problem was we basically everyone only knows how to play one comp, and that's our version of Goats.
Try
And
more
the whole
comps,
time-
play more
the
people.
whole-
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Just do it. Like, you guys are gonna get absolutely smacked, and it's gonna be amazing. And then you're gonna look at the comp and you're gonna say, okay, why didn't that fight work? Why didn't that map work? Why didn't that entire series of maps work?
Yeah.
Right? What were we doing wrong? Because let me tell you right now, if you play one variation of Goats, you're gonna do great for one season, and then they're gonna nerf Brig
Yeah.
or nerf Ryan or nerf
Yeah.
Hog, right? And then it's over. You've
Yeah.
lost. You lose every
Main-
single game.
The main reason we were trying to focus that was because a lot of people haven't played before, and so we're trying to get them used to at least like one
Yeah.
character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I see what you're coming from. Like,
I don't know if you noticed, but most of them aren't even.
yeah,
25 yet.
I saw.
Yeah,
And-
I played on PS4. for-
Yeah, and I know what you guys. I know what you like. I get what you mean by that, but I do think it would be best to play a lot of different comps, right? Because in the end, like, you do want to get them good at a hero, but you also want them to get good at Overwatch, right?
Right.
And if you, who's new? Shakrif, right? If you put Shakrif on Ana forever, and then one day they have to play Mercy, and they're playing Mercy like they play Ana because Ana's the only character they know, and you're relying on them to know Mercy too, you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
And that's not their fault. Well, it's not. It's everyone's fault, but
It's not, but it's also worse.
yeah. So play different comps. Why does it work? Why doesn't it work? What are the strengths of this character? What are the weaknesses of this character, right? And if you ever don't know, just shoot me a PM. I'll break it down for you guys. Hey, what do you think? Do you think this comp would work? I'd be like, oh, well, on this map it might work, but on this map it wouldn't, and especially against this comp it wouldn't, right? And then little things like that lets you kind of get a feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could, write me out some of the team comps that you discussed, like over text.
Well,
Well,
I
like,
recorded
you're-
it.
Oh yeah, well, I didn't keep track then.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean that's everything that I got to spout at you guys. How long do we have still?
Maybe 10 minutes.
Okay, well in that case, let's just get in a quick play game. Yeah?
Okay. There's only 3 of us here, so.
Oh. Wait, then who's the other? There's 4.
Yeah, he had to leave.
Ah, jeez. That's
It's
fine.
actually
Just
our lunch period, but
I see. Kick him out of the group. We'll play one quick play game. We'll just go. I don't know. We'll go some comp. Worst case, we leave right in the middle of it. Right? Who cares?
All right.
okay. He was pretty good. He did pretty good.
Oh, I'm just listening to him. He's amazing.
I'm sorry.
Wait. Yeah, he is. Okay.
How's lunch in? Want something?
like 1 o'clock. We have plenty of time.
It's like 103, right?
Yeah, I think so. We have like 18 minutes.
Say about that.
Yeah, it's good that he recorded it so we could send it to anyone that wasn't here.
Yeah.
I have to do 2 headers in this one.
Mine are at.
I'm probably gonna make a text and just write elementary.
Game time.
Here we go.
Oh, shut that door.
You want to run the rest up there?
Good.
All right. I just noticed I unplugged my headphones.
Yeah.
Let's go. Orisa Hog's pretty good here because there's a lot of opportunities where we can get picks as they're going past. Right?
Who should I go? What's your best
Yeah,
option, do you think?
play Senyatta, I guess.
Yeah. You could go Zen. You could go Ana. I've seen Moira here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You could go Brig, but that's kind of assuming they're gonna go dive. This Reaper's throwing. That's fine.
Either more is pretty easy case.
Yeah, Moira would work. So, looking at this comp, kind of what we should probably do is have Orisa Hog set high ground and eventually contest point with Moira, because she can pocket us really hard, obviously. Zen and Ash are going to set high ground, and Reaper will probably stick with us / cover the stairs, right? So we'll hold this high ground. That's going to give the Ash, the Zen, maybe the Hog and I a chance to get kills. If they go left upstairs, we have a Reaper and a Hog, so good luck, have fun. If they go right, we have a lot of room to shoot at them as they're going past. If they go under, we can do what I was saying, drop to point,
Nice. Make sure he stays
Yeah.
out of
Be-
sight.
Be a little careful. I am going to back the shield up in a little bit here. I just played so far up just to see what they're doing. Okay, so they are running Rhine, so I won't really need to. And no Widow looks. They're going to teleport up here. I'm going to pull them off. Alright, it's good that we broke that. Again, just you see they're going, go from the side here. Good hook there. Good focus. I'm going to put in shield back down. Zen, I don't know, where were you holding? Yeah, right then you probably should have just been holding under the shield. Looks like they're going up the stairs now, so we're going to rotate left Hog. I'm going to pull them back. Again, we just want maximum time to spam. Right, good damage. Reaper's probably going a little bit too far here. He's probably going to die, but that's okay. Good hook there. Again, just doing the damage. Whoever's this main tank is gonna be like, oh, that was so tasty.
I'm listening.
Taking a little bit of an opportunity here just to get some extra damage, and probably shouldn't be doing that if I'm being honest, but that's
Probably
okay.
get back.
Zen's coming back here. He's going to come up those stairs. They don't have a sniper, but they do have that soldier in the Zen, so it's a little scary, but he should be okay. I don't think we need to commit anyone to protect him as he comes over. Someone is contesting point. We don't need to commit too hard to this, but we do need to commit to this because that is an easy kill early. If it could be, I don't know where they just went. Can I pull that? Nice. Pulled Moira and Sim away from each other. This is not great. I'm going to be holding the side of point here.
My game was like,
All right, so I'm just going to wipe here.
my game completely froze for some reason.
That's fine. I think what happened there is our backline kind of dived point before our front line did, and that made them a little bit weaker than they should have been. And that's a little bit on me because I was kind of chasing some people that teleported high ground, but that's fine. Big picture, if you're not Orisa Hog Moira, you stay high ground. All right, so again, we're gonna hold top left here. I'm gonna be able to pull them down. Oh, very nice. That's very big. I do have Bongo here, so I'm gonna be playing a little bit further back than I probably normally would. Save that pull or save the hook for the pull, right? It's gonna make it a lot easier on you. I can pull the Ryan off here actually in a second if he moves forward. So that's gonna
Yeah.
give you a chance, right? Right, just like, oh, I actually missed. That's fun. Ooh, broke the shield.
got pulled.
That's good by them. This is very good by them. Can I kill? Oh, I couldn't kill him in time. I'm very sad. That was a throw by me.
Coming back up.
Do we win this fight? Yeah, we win this fight. Good stuff. Our Ana is doing a great job sitting up there. They did just swap to a Pharaoh, which is something we have to worry out about, right? They're still doing so. Let's look at their comp real quick, right? Strengths and weaknesses. Hit me with it.
They got a Pharah that can fly around. They got a Symmetra that can teleport, I guess.
Oh my gosh, that fight.
She can also put sentries.
Yeah, play behind that wall.
Alright.
Back and shield up. Careful. Careful. Oh, you're so dead, dude. Oh, I think his game crashed.
My game is like being
Yeah, you were walking straight forward for a bit there.
Pull
I had to pull him off. I'm probably dead here though. That's fine. I was gonna swap Ryan here just because the Ryan and the Moira solo heal is gonna make Ryan a little bit stronger versus Orisa Hog. Or instead of Orisa Hog, I should say. Make sure we have one person contesting here. Yeah, one at a time, like double pocket Hog and let him touch. I can follow up. Oh wow, I just saved your life. Did you see that?
They have a Pharaoh rocketing around.
That's like for me to respawn. I'll try to take it.
She's dead. Good stuff. I'm a little scared about the Pharaoh, but since we do have that Ashe, I'm just gonna have to rely on that. So what I am gonna do here is Ryan is kind of find where our Ashe is playing and really make it so that the Pharaoh can't shoot at me unless they shoot at the Ashe. So that is gonna mean we're playing this corner now. Reaper is gonna get absolutely destroyed because of it, but that's fine. He can either play with us or not. This is really good for us. That Ryan, see, I saw the Discord on him, so I chose to play aggro and how far
Pharaoh's
away
coming
his
back
team is.
around in the back.
Simple stuff, right?
30 frames.
Unlucky. I hear the Pharaoh. I really don't want anyone to die to this Pharaoh, so I'm trying to block
I
it, but
just died to the Pharaoh.
I know. I was doing my best. She's too high up for me. No reason for me to block that spam, right? I don't think, well, if Zen's good, he won't die to it, and I'm going to need to block more in a second anyway. We are a man up. We could be getting aggro here, but I don't think it's worth it. Well, Reaper's going to die. What I can do here is just put my shield around here for him. Hopefully I protect him a little bit.
Oh, they're coming around.
Yep, block that sim at least. That saved his life.
Genji's coming back behind us.
I'm gonna pin this. He's discorded, right? Oh, he's not discorded anymore. That was a throw. I'm using the Hog's ult to push me back further there. Small optimization stuff. Oh, I'm bad. Yo, that was bad by me. I messed up that fight big time. That's alright. They do have that Widow now, so that is going to be a little scary high ground. In this situation, you'd probably swap the Reaper, but he's not on our team, so we can't force him to do anything. Just watch out for that Zen, okay? She's going to play top left, I would bet. Maybe bottom right. And that's going to be not a great angle for us. So I do have... Oh, jeez, that's bad. I do have Shatter here, so what's probably going to happen is I'm going to get their Ryan to drop and then just punish him. Right, Hog drops first. This is an easy kill for us. The Discord makes it a lot easier.
Reinhardt just jumped down.
Widow's up top on the left side.
Okay, Ryan, please. He's Discord. Great Discord. Oh, I got you baited. I'm so bad. Oh, the Pharaoh too. I just lost the staff fight. Whoopsies. I didn't think he'd have Shatter. Oh well. whoever was just watching me as Ryan, if you're
Oh, yeah,
watching this
goodness.
video, don't play as aggro as I was playing. I probably shouldn't have chased that hog by myself, but I was thirsty. Alright.
Never done that. I was set more dread
Oh,
bar
yeah.
because I play with Reagan.
I was trying to do the same thing to him. So sad. Alright. I am going to end the recording here, and I'll upload it and send it to one of you guys. But yeah, if you do have any more questions, feel free to shoot me a PM. Yeah?